congratulations on the film. It was so fun and it was so great. It really brought me back to a lot of the great family films that I watched growing up. Um, what stood out to you about the book and what were you excited to bring to the big screen?
Um, I was really excited. I read the script first, actually, before the book. And
Okay.
the first thing that was most exciting to me was just kind of like the brand of humor.
Hmm.
It was really exciting to have stuff that, I knew that adults, I was like, it made me laugh. And so I was like, okay, that means I can make a movie for adults as much as kids. And then I was just really pulled in by having a family movie that wasn't just about, a family getting back together, but about kind of that deeper issue of like, when the world makes you struggle or knocks you to your knees, what does it take for you to get back up again? And that came through so powerfully and was very personal to me.
Mm, that's cool. Now Matilda was amazing. She's wise beyond her years. What was your favorite part about working with her, and how did you? Why was she the perfect choice for Florida? Flora.
I mean, with our casting director Emily Schwaber, we looked at over 1,000 girls, and we just could not find her. We're like, oh my god, what if we don't find the girl? Like, we can't just go with anybody because you needed somebody who could do that sort of like dry, sarcastic humor. That could do the witty banter. That could say things like in this mature way, but you actually believe they're saying it. But could also have that sort of like innocent vulnerability.
Hmm.
And she was the only one that I could find that, or that Emily found, that could do that. And so when we found her, I told Sean Bailey at Disney, I was like, this there's nobody else who can do this movie.
Hmm.
And working with her is so amazing because she actually challenges you. Like, she forces you. First of all, you have to work with her as an adult. Like, she won't have you working with her like the way you would as a kid. And everything has to come from a very real and honest place, which sometimes challenges you. Like, there's no shortcuts. You have to really make sure everything is coming from this place of trueness, which was really nice.
Yeah, that you can really tell on screen, and to realize that it's her first actual film. It's like, wow, that's it's unreal. It's unreal. Now the movie highlights a lot of like non you know n- not the normal family. You highlight separated families and people that kids that have lost their parents. What what's something that you want viewers to take away from all that?
I think I want people to see that no matter what the world is throwing at you, the key through it is learning how to see again, and how
Hmm.
to see the world differently. Um, and through that, there's possibility for having hope again.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now there's a lot of Easter eggs from all of the other Disney properties that you guys have over there. Which one of them was your favorite to incorporate?
Ooh, um, my favorite one is probably. Oh, that's very tricky. There's so many good. Yeah, I
There's
think
so
my
many.
favorite is the giant penny in the
Oh,
back of Comic Cave. Because it's something that like true comic people will know, which is that you find Batman often has that giant penny in the back cave.
yeah.
And so
That's
I think, yeah, incorporating things like just even in the background was sort of fun for me.
it was I was just having so much fun looking at all the little Easter eggs. Um Now there's a lot of great like other supporting characters in this like Danny and Kate, and they're so much fun, even like the last part towards the end. How much fun was it having them, and were there any talks to maybe have them on screen together more?
So you're talking about Danny and Kate?
Yeah.
Well, that's actually, you're the first to ask anything about that because um, Danny and Kate, our crew loved them. Like, we would go wild. We'd be so excited whenever we saw them on screen. So randomly in the middle of the filming, we're like, we got to figure out a way to have more Danny and Kate. And you know what? We're like, most superhero movies have a post-credit scene. So
Hmm.
we should do a post-credit scene too. And so I was like, why don't we have something with Danny and Kate? And they've been dating. So I asked
Hmm.
Brad Copeland, our writer, to write something. So he inserted a post-credit scene in the middle of the credits where Danny and Kate, where Miller and Rita are going on a date, and what happens.
It was so much fun. I was about to like just fast forward through the things, and then the scene came up, and I really enjoyed it. Now, the dynamic between Ben and Allison and Matilda was great. Was there anything that you needed to do to help them build that chemistry together?
I mean, they're all amazing actors, and so my job was just kind of making them, giving what was needed to kind of help cement those relationships. So in rehearsal, like, we never rehearsed scenes. We rehearsed kind of what was at the core of their characters and their relationships.
Hmm.
And so we did some exercises for that, and then I would just take opportunities of like, forget rehearsal today. Like, I sent Allison and Matilda to go spend a day doing crafts because
Oh.
Allison loves crafts and that's what she does with her own kids. So I know
Hmm.
she would really bring out like the motherliness and Matilda could feel it. And so they made a trailer for Ulysses.
Hmm.
And Ben doesn't actually have kids. So it was having a lot of like sending him to like the fair with Matilda or whatever it is. So he could really kind of start feeling that fatherliness. And he became really bonded with her.
Yeah, you can tell right on the screen that they're just it was seamless. The chemistry is seamless. Now, like with Ben, he's a big improv guy. Did you allow him to add a little improv to some of the scenes in the movie?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like I feel like half of them we'd get what we needed, and they'd be like, Ben, George, do your thing. And so many of the great, especially with him and Matilda, so many of those great scenes are improv. That's all Ben.
That was amazing. The main one of the themes in the story is like you said, always having hope, and Flora's character becomes a little bit of a cynic. What were some things that you helped to show how cynical she was?
I think I kind of drew on the when you're cynical, sometimes that cynicalness is a defense mechanism.
Hmm.
So it's because you're trying to protect yourself from getting hurt again. She's protecting herself from like if she lets herself hope she might be hurt again. So I wanted to make sure that she found times where she had to remind herself,
Hmm.
like, wait a minute, don't get too ahead of yourself. You are a cynic. You have to keep that way until she just can't. She can't hold it in any longer.
Yeah, yeah. Like even the use of the superheroes that her dad, made. The scene where they disappear, where she asks him, "I'm okay now. You've done your job." I thought that was beautiful. Um, what were probably some of the hardest things for you to film in this movie?
Um, the stuff with Ulysses,
Yeah.
that took a little bit of a learning curve to figure out kind of how to make sure that he was a fully realized character when he didn't even really exist yet.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so my visual effects team suggested, they're like, you know what you do is you kind of like, they're like, how would you describe Ulysses to me? And I said, well, I know exactly who he is. Ulysses is like Chris Pratt in Parks and Recreation. Like he has like a lack of impulse control, very friendly, but that's kind of where his thoughts are. But he starts getting a little sense of like, okay, sometimes he realizes he can start being Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's still
Hmm.
got Andy in him. And so they're like, yes, okay. So when you see him, like, and so from then on, when I'd imagine him, I just imagine, Ulysses Squirrel Chris Pratt doing these sorts of things, like getting his cheese puffs or whatever it is. And it made him feel like a very real live character. And then I would puppet him so that Matilda could follow along to, what I was doing.
That's amazing. That's a great comparison. I guess the last question would be: would you be up for a sequel to this film?
Um, if Brad Copeland writes it, then yes.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed the film, and I can't wait for the rest of the world to see it.